eyes, scanning the black, tracking the heat, never turning back. And roll 22, a covert gaze, and roll 33 in the cosmic maze. And rolls in the mix, secrets untold, silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interest, far and wide. As fears, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. In the silence of space, they keep their post, shields unseen yet feared the most. With precision and speed, they warn of danger, keeping us safe from the missile's anger. As beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. And he rolls in the mix, secrets untold, silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interest, far and wide. As fears, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. As fears, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star.
S. Beers, Sentinel of the Night. Guys, that is a jam, everybody. Hey, everybody, welcome to the stream tonight. You can probably triangulate my position based on like the sun reflecting off my face and coming down. I have a window that I can't block out, and then it's only a problem at this time of year. Pretty annoying. So we have to put up with it. You have to put up with my weird glare for probably another, I don't know, 20 minutes till the sun goes down. Okay, guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming back and being here today with me. Today's agenda is to review the Cosmic Summit and some of the stuff that happened there. I think there's some pretty spicy stuff and pretty funny stuff and everything in between. And then I'm going to do a little bit of an update, not much of an update on the Overunity thing. And I do plan to show the video that I showed again before. So I think it's going to be a fun little stream that we have tonight. And also, I'm not in the best of health right now, so it's probably going to be a short stream. I'm trying to fight through it pretty hard right now. So if my voice cracks up or if I have to sneeze or whatever, please forgive me for that. I did want to try to get you guys some information for this summit that came out there, though. It was pretty sweet. Okay. I'm also waiting for a message. Okay. Then.ca. Okay, sweet. First thing I want to do is I met a lot of dope people at the Cosmic Summit. One of them is the shirt I'm wearing right now, actually. Sensei Mike. Look at that. Ooh, chat. Ooh. That is awesome. So if you are in Canada and you want, boy, I forgot what kind of fighting style it is. I better not even just say. If you need some martial arts training, highly recommend you check out fightden.ca right here, fightden.ca. Check that out. I got like 4 shirts while I was there. It was awesome. Sensei Mike was actually the person that got me my first martini from one of my followers, fans, friends, etc. So that's pretty sweet. Oh, also looks like Lulu wants to come up, guys. You want to come up, Lulu? Come here. No, she guess not. Thought she wanted to come up, but no. Faked out. Okay. So again, check out fightden.ca if you're in Canada and you want to learn some martial arts training. Some pretty dope people. Yeah, I had to guess again on that one. That was a no on that one. It's weird because she was like batting at me and jumping up at me, but no, she was like, nah, I'm good. Okay. So Cosmic Summit is, if you're not familiar, I'm going to share a screen here so you can see. I'm going to tell you guys a few stories from Cosmic Summit as well. give you guys some inside info in terms of like some of the people that were there. So hopefully this doesn't come across as like a diss stream. I hope it doesn't. But I'm just gonna give it to you guys honest as well, guys. Okay. So this is the Cosmic Summit. This was the main stage people, basically. I think mostly main stage, maybe not all main stage. But the way it worked out was that we had there was like 2 side classrooms, and then they would have them going on at the same time. And then there was a main stage, and usually the main stage was exclusive when the side rooms weren't going on. And then we had additional classrooms in those side rooms on Monday. And that's the one that I was in on Monday as well. I want to say that way more people recognized me at the Cosmic Summit than I expected. I actually didn't even go 5 minutes from arriving at the hotel where the summit was happening before people started to recognize me, which was weird because I've never been recognized in public before. Never. And that was even without a badge or anything. People were already recognizing me going, oh, it's Ashton, blah, blah, blah. I met up with Chromopolis Michael. I met Sensei Mike, as I mentioned. I won't say his Twitter account because I'm trying not to dox people or whatever. I met up with just so many people. Wayne, if you're out there, it was a great time. Raj, some pretty interesting interesting personalities as well, guys. It was great. I did not expect to get offered as many marijuanas as I got offered while I was there. Yeah, maybe people watched my joke about Joe Rogan and then like they just felt inclined. It was a fun group. So I watched most of the people's presentations. Robert Schock is about 30 years older than he is in this picture, which I thought was pretty interesting. Don't really have anything to say about Johanna James in general. She kind of was like the co-host of a lot of the stuff that was out there. Hey, William, thank you very much for the donation, man. I'll cover one of your drinks out there. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Randall Carlson, I actually went up to talk to him and introduced myself, and he didn't know who I was, of course. And I told him about the letter. And I said, the only thing I want you to know about this letter is that, like, somebody thinks you know more about, like, science than you really do. Or wait, no. You know more about science than you think you do. Yeah. And he was kind of, taken aback. He's a big guy, too. Randall is. Wow. He was big, man. So that was interesting. I did watch all of Robert Schock's presentation though, where he talks about, the history of like ice melts, solar flares, etc. So it was pretty interesting. Hugh Newman, I don't remember seeing his thing. Scott Walter does this Templar thing. Or he talks about the Templars, and I think I couldn't get a straight answer, but it seemed like the situation was like the Templars are like the Illuminati or something like that, like secretly control everything from behind the scenes. And he brought with him his what do I call her? So this woman that he brought with him is like, he's her sugar daddy, and like she's like at least 30 years younger than he is, probably. And her name was Haley. She was really cute, fun to talk to. But you could tell that he was extremely jealous of her, of her talking to other men, for sure. Like it was actually a little bit weird, honestly. He's a Mason, apparently, but they were both super into the Templar, and I was actually curious about it. Like, I think she had a necklace on that was like the Templar thing, and apparently there's some symbology related to that or whatever. Another donation. Deadsnye. I can't believe they let Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan's podcast, but I won't give you a spot. Guys, like, I'm just going to be upfront, as upfront as I can. Like, they're not going to let me go on Joe Rogan. And it doesn't have anything to do with hoaxes or scams. It has to do with the fact that I'm too far over the target, and it's too much information that's leaking out. That's the truth. Whether or not you want to accept it or not, that's the reason why they're not going to let me go on a place like Joe Rogan. They're happy to put Terrence Howard on there, somebody that can be made fun of, right? But that's not how it will go down with me. So Scott Walter was interesting, but it was really bizarre when he got really jealous, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna walk away. Praveen Mohan talked a lot about the ancient history of India.
Heresy is a cradle.
Do you guys hear that?
Orthodoxy, a coffin.
What the? Can you guys hear the sound?
What if the story was based on something that was completely true?
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. That was freaking me out, guys. Okay, I didn't really want to play the sound. But Praveen talked about like India and these ancient statues that are like 1,000 years old, and they have these weird holes in them. And he also talked about like the way these statues looked, especially the ones about pregnancy, is that they could essentially be medicine guides or like guidebooks, because statues aren't going to disintegrate, as opposed to like paper, for example, that might fall apart. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Okay, you couldn't hear it? Good. So that's the main people on this stage. And Luke Caverns, I think he's a formal archaeologist as well. And Luke Caverns talked about ancient history as well. I actually didn't get to see his thing. I did my best to see as many as I could, but didn't really work out. Now, let's get to the spicy stuff, chat. And then we'll talk about some stories. So Bob Grenier is exactly who he appears to be in all his videos. Awesome guy. Loved hanging out with him. We went to the nightclub together. We chatted privately for quite a while at the nightclub and some other places as well, which was great. When I did my presentation, he actually came and asked a question related to it, which wasn't even much of a question so much as like telling people that even if they don't think that MH370 videos are real, that the science is 100% real. And he brought some of his samples, and he had a very high quality camera, and he pulled up the samples so you could see was it crenulated monopoles or whatever it is? I don't know the exact terms for it, which was awesome. I also got to go to the speaker dinner. George Howard invited me to that as well. And George Howard, like, guys, this event was well put on. Like, this was very well organized event. This wasn't some janky little thing that's out there. And it was at a really nice hotel as well, at least for Greensboro, I imagine. It was at the Sheraton Four Seasons out there. And crap, what was I going to say? Yeah, I just wanted to thank George Howard for having me out there. He gave me a free pass. I had a press pass. That's why I posted a lot of pictures out there. I took even more pictures than that. You guys only saw a fraction of them. Oh, crenulated microspheres. Thank you. I was close. Crenulated microspheres. And then so he invited me to the speaker dinner. I ran into Paul Shatskin there, who was, if you watch my interview with George Howard, Paul Shatskin, Bob Grenier, we talked about, anti-gravity research. He did 2 books, one about Farnsworth, who invented the television, and then one about Thomas Townsend Brown. So I got to sit next to him. I got the impression he didn't really love my company, but he didn't really hate it at the same time either. I tried to talk to Paul about what do you think about anti-gravity and, some more deeper thoughts as well. But the thing I found out about Paul Shatskin was that it seems like he just only investigated those 2 people related to those books and then just dropped the whole thing, which was weird to me. Because if you're investigating electromagnetism and electricity, the television, anti-gravity, you would think you want to... Oh, hello. Thank you, Chaotic Good. You're making me blush. You would think you want to know all about the history of all scientists that have researched anti-gravity. But even when I brought up Thomas Bearden, he basically had no idea about him. And I was like, okay. So the reason why I bring this story up is not to put down Paul Shatskin. I think people can do whatever the hell they want. And he's probably done okay with his books, which is awesome for him. The reason why I bring it up is that I want you guys to realize how many people start this journey and they don't finish the journey, especially when it comes to anti-gravity research. There's not a lot of people that have been doing what I've been doing to not just start the journey, but finish the journey. Find out where it leads to. Search in every crevice and corner that's out there. And that's the reason why I think that I have value to people that are out there. Let's see. We got some more messages here. Sorry, I'm already losing my voice, guys. JML, Greenwald is a plant over Unity. Whatever. I'm just shooting a little shot back at Greenwald, man. You know, like guy sells dildos and you're telling other people they're weirdos. Kind of like, I feel like a lot of these guys have sour grapes, man, where like they've never really accomplished anything tangible. And so when somebody comes and accomplishes it and does the research and does the homework, like they just feel jealous about it, and they can't be real, because if it's real, then all his work was for nothing. And so that's just my true opinion of it. I'm going to take a couple sprays, chat. Robert Temple. Wait, which one was he again? I don't think I saw Robert Temple's chat thing. I'm not sure. So sorry to let you down, Emily. Not sure I saw that one. Yeah. I don't want to put a lozenge in because then we're going to be doing, what is it, ASMR or whatever the heck people say it is. So I'm not going to do that. Okay. Now the big one. Thunderstorm generator, Malcolm Bendel. I'm going to choose my words very wisely here, very carefully. So I am all out on the Thunderstorm generator. I'm not going to be discussing Thunderstorm generator anymore from this point going forward. It's not that I believe that it's a scam. It's that the way that it has been kind of sold to me is not the way that I found out how it really is operating, I guess I would say. And what I mean by this is I do think that there is validity in the plasmoids, and that plasmoids are theoretically the answer for cold fusion. I absolutely think that's true. And I'm going to back up for just 1 second. They had like 3 different demonstrations on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for the Thunderstorm generator. On Saturday, they had a car, an old school, early 1900s car, maybe like 1940s, something like that, that had the Thunderstorm generator hooked up to it, that did not have a catalytic converter in it. Now, newer cars have catalytic converters that reduce emissions. The Thunderstorm generator has never been hooked up to a newer model car. I spoke to a mechanic on Saturday who was there, and I'm actually a skeptical guy, contrary to what people would say about me. So I told the mechanic, I want you guys to tell me, go ahead, tell me, debunk it for me. Like, why do you think it's not legit? So first of all, I think we can throw out the idea of the Thunderstorm generator being an over Unity device. It's not producing over Unity to the degree where you can get free energy out of it. The bigger question is it reducing emissions? And the person I talked to, who is the person who was really down on it, the mechanic, said that, well, 2 things. One is that it doesn't operate it doesn't work efficiently when you are actually putting the gas on the pedal, like when you're accelerating. And the other thing is that newer cars already have catalytic converters that already reduce emissions. So, and those were the 2 main points I got out of our back and forth. We talked for like 30 minutes. They don't reduce emissions to 0. That's correct. That is correct. So that's the other flip side of it. So then my conclusion is that, and people, and even Bob Greenyer mentioned this in a reply earlier today, is that you would just replace the catalytic converter with a Thunderstorm generator if it's more efficient than the catalytic converter is. Okay. So that does seem like, if it is true, it can be doing that. Now, I also spoke to Phil DuBois, who was one of the people I took a picture with. He spent like 9 months out there with Malcolm Bendel. And apparently on Saturday, after we had left, we went to the club or something. And apparently there was some drama, because he came out also and said that perhaps some of the ways they were testing was not really accurate, and it was allowing some of the air to flow back in, and it wasn't just the exhaust. And that's how they were getting some of the oxygen that was pumping back into the engine. Okay. Oh my God, I'm losing my voice so bad. So the next day on Sunday, they set up two engines that don't have like a car attached to them. And that was, pretty interesting, pretty compelling. Although when Malcolm Bendel was hold up his reader, I was kind of like, what am I looking at? He would carry this reader around and show people to film it. And Phil Du Bois said that, that's all for show. That's not really showing anything when he does that. So the real kicker, so just to break it down for you guys, the Thunderstorm generator might be reducing emissions more than a catalytic converter on a newer car. I think that's yet to be seen exactly how much. Phil Du Bois said it might be reducing them by like 10 or 20% more, which is a lot. It's a significant amount of reduction if that's true. And so I got both sides on everything. That's not really the reason why I'm all out on Thunderstorm generator. The reason why I'm Malcolm Bendel on Sunday night at the speaker dinner and spoke to him for over an hour probably. I think that it doesn't matter what you have to sell that's out there, but if you don't come across as a credible person, then you are not going to be taken very seriously. And what my impression, I don't want to psychoanalyze anybody, was that there's no easy way to say this, guys. Malcolm Bendel has delusions of grandeur. Some of the first things he told me that he was the 5th king of Scotland and that he was the 10th or something avatar of some tribe somewhere. And then he went into how he found the secrets of the universe from a 150,000-year-old scroll that came from a collapsed wall that only he has seen. And I may be paraphrasing, so if I'm doing the story injustice, I apologize. So even Paul Shatskin we were both talking to Malcolm, and I could tell Paul Shatskin was like, this dude is, something's going on, right? And Paul Shatskin was being very nice about it. Like, I was kind of looking at Paul, and I was like, what? And so what I realized right away from that personal conversation is that, no, I'm pretty sure Malcolm Bendel's not the 5th king of Scotland. I'm just going to throw that out there. He had also been making statements that maybe the CIA had been sabotaging the devices while we were at the hotel. He said that multiple times publicly. That didn't happen, guys. Nobody's sabotaging these devices. Yeah. So, and that was just part of it. That's only the bits that I even remember. I was checked out from the conversation after we were just talking about that. And he constantly says stuff like, this device is the most important device in the history of humanity and stuff like that, where it's also just not true, And so when people are exaggerating their stories, at a minimum, he's exaggerating his stories. At the worst, he's whole cloth making up fake stories that never happened to him ever. And he's a nice guy, man. That's the worst part. He's a nice guy. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body. But some of the stories that he's telling, a lot of people can tell it's just tall tales. And this is what Phil also told me, is he hung out with him for 9 months, and that they try to keep him behind the scenes because there might be something here with this generator, but they don't want to put him in a room with some of these executives and stuff that might want to be spending millions and billions of dollars on something like this, because then he starts going off on all these different stories out there. So that was why I was so deflated related to the Thunderstorm generator, is just that whole story that was out there. But it is, like I said, it is, there still can be something there, no doubt. I love Malcolm, but, I just can't promote that content. Cause I'm a guy that is trying to keep it 100% on the level for the most part. And I do think that's probably why Joe Rogan decided to pull the episode. what you realize is that the Malcolm that's presented on stage is not the same one that you get when you're in a private one-on-one conversation, and you see glimpses of it when they're on stage, when he's on stage. So like once I saw the behind the curtains, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, and this is the reason why when he does his presentations, he has other people do the speaking. Like, and when he does the speaking, he's just regurgitating the same like talking points that he regurgitates every time. So pretty wild. And this is definitely why Joe Rogan pulled it. Joe Rogan was listening to him. He was probably hearing all this bullshit that he was telling, and he went, this guy's full of shit, right? I mean, it's kind of what I did as well. So that's the pro and the con. I'm not going to go into any more about it because I don't want to defame the guy or put him down or anything like that. I just think it's going to be pretty difficult to sell a device like that when you're making grandiose statements that are definitely not true. Okay. So sorry we had to get through. I'm actually going to lose my voice before the stream ends, I think. We got through the hard part. Now we can talk about the fun stuff. What was the stories? I think I forgot what story I was going to talk. Okay, I may have to pull up my Twitter account to recall my some of my stories. Oh yeah, okay, the wedding ring one. Okay, I'm going to start with the wedding ring one. So on Sunday, a bunch of the guys and the people that I was hanging out with decided to go. Who was it? It was. I'm struggling. Oh, Nathaniel Hanks was there, guys. So Nathaniel Hanks from Twitter, he uses his real name. He was there. He lives nearby. Hopefully, I'm not doxing him too much here. And he knew of a good like little creek that had a waterfall or whatever. And a bunch of the guys decided to go up there. I chose not to because I was I felt like I needed to be around, take pictures, chat with people, etc. But they all went up there. I might have to literally use AI voice here. This is crazy. I'm hoping there's Nathaniel Hanks right there. Man of the hour. There he is. So he brought everybody up to this creek that was up there. And Sensei Mike, whose shirt I'm wearing right now, fight10.ca, he lost his wedding ring when they were up there. So I start getting these text messages from Bob Greenier's wife, who was with her, and she said something about the car being broken down. And I'm like, what? So I send back a message, and she's like, no, it's all fine, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So they get back. Yeah, I don't know. It was a waterfall or whatever it was. So anyway, apparently they couldn't find his wedding ring. Like everybody's swimming down trying to find it. They're spending like 20 minutes trying to find it, and he's getting ready to give up. You know, wedding rings are expensive too, and his wife was going to be pissed. So then out of nowhere, Bob had a Tupperware, or he had this idea to use this Tupperware. Nathaniel Hanks just ruined the story. Thank you, Nathaniel. Not just kidding. It's your story anyway. To use Tupperware to look, because if you use the Tupperware, then you can see more clearly, as opposed to just like digging around. Sure enough, he puts the Tupperware in the water. Boom, finds the ring. Whoa, the one true ring. They found it. How crazy is it that they found the ring? I mean, this is in like a little creek, like a little kind of pond where a waterfall's at. That ring could have been anywhere. That was a needle in a haystack situation, guys. Absolutely wild. So yeah, I was excited for them. They were all super excited when that happened. My precious. Yeah. I can actually do the precious voice right now because my throat is just shot. Now, the other stories, let me go to my list here real quick. Okay, you guys are going to love some of these stories, man. So Sensei Mike was kind of he was like the hero of the weekend. Apparently he came just to meet me, and so we hung out quite a bit, actually. And I hope Sensei Mike doesn't mind this. I think he's watching right now. So Sensei Mike is like, you know, he's got a dojo, man. He teaches people, and I'm not going to go into all his background. But I will say that it's a little weird that he speaks fluent Russian. What? Fluent Russian. He broke fluent Russian out in the middle of our dinner on Friday night. And his buddy Danny was there. Both these guys are awesome. And Danny and I are just looking at each other going, that's a little weird. Fluent Russian, like with the accent and everything. And I'm like, well, it's not bad. But no, he was a really awesome guy, and he's a long history of like competing in martial arts and training people that are like pretty big name people. He showed me a list of the celebrities he's trained. And so he told me like, hey, if anybody messes with you, you know, if they try to hurt you or whatever, he's like, I got no problem doing 6 months hard time. I was like, okay, that actually makes me feel great that this guy was willing to, if they come and attack me, he's like, he doesn't have any problem going a little extra hard on them because he can do a little bit of time if necessary. I felt like I had my own bodyguard with me the whole time I was there with Sensei Mike. So that was probably the first part. I told him I was going to tell that story, so he can't get mad at me. But yeah, that was really funny. There was no, yeah, it was a boss move. That was a real boss move, dude. So on Saturday night, we went to the clubs. Eventually, I don't even remember what time we went there. They closed at 2 a.m. Yeah, Mike is probably loving this right now. And actually, and Danny and Mike treated us to the clubs. We got the VIP table at the clubs. We had to get patted down when we went inside, so I felt a little bit safer too, because this was like a hip hop club. Like, you know, most people are probably like 15, 20 years younger than I am. You know, I'm 41. And they were, you know, there was a DJ and they were playing like custom hip hop, like mixed tracks and stuff like that, which was awesome. The lady came over and she says, what do you want your, like, there's a sign. She said, there's a sign. And I'm like, what do you mean a sign? Oh, we're gonna have this sign come over. What do you want to be on the sign? Like the name of your party or whatever. And I said, without really even thinking twice, Thug Life. And I was just like, okay, this is going to be great. So about 20 minutes later, these two ladies who are, they work there, let's say. I don't know what their occupations are exactly, but they're scantily clad, come over and they've got these glow sticks that are like flashing and this giant sign that's like a crest and it's got Thug Life on it. And they're just come over and they play this song. I don't even remember what the song was. And they're just flashing. The Bottle Girls. Yes, Bottle Girls. The Bottle Girls. So we had a bottle. We had a bunch of people over there. Bob Green and I were hanging out. We were chatting. We were chilling. And they make the tables, the stool where the tables are at, where you can sit, is so tiny. It's like deliberately tiny so that you don't want to sit for very long, so that you get up and try to dance. Just thought that was weird. So then they flashed the Thug Life sign, and I'm just in there just loving it. Like, yeah. It was great. But I was sad because they took the sign away. I wanted the sign to be out front that said Thug Life in front of our table the whole time. So I was a little bit disappointed in that. And that night was also when I heard the next story. So I was talking to Selena, this woman that was also there, who is apparently, and I hope she doesn't mind them saying this, Johanna James' #1 fan. Like, just absolutely loves Johanna James, which, okay, you know, good taste. So then, hey, Crypto, how's it going, man? So I'm talking to her, and I ask her why there was police in the hotel on Friday night. And I was wondering why there was police in the hotel on Friday night. So me and I think I posted the video. If not, the woman's name was Sheila. She did these 3-dimensional sound phase conjugations, I'm going to call them, harmonic and coherent, where they make shapes. She was walking by, or we were both going to our hotel rooms, and we walk by and we see this like couple, and they're talking to the police on Friday night. I thought there was like a domestic dispute. It was very weird. I did not expect to see the police in the hotel. So then the next day, I just asked Selena, like, what do you know about the police that were at the club? I'm like, what do you know about those police that were there? That was really weird. And that's not how you spell her name, Big Pooh, but Sheila is definitely a very cute lady for sure. And it turns out she knew the whole story. So why were the police at the hotel? Because one gay guy whipped his dick out at the bar, hitting on another gay guy. Hold on, chat. Wait for it. So, yes, somebody flashed the whole bar, just whipped it out, had it hitting out, and it caused a giant scene. And so then the cops came, and apparently I don't even remember. Like, I was had a couple drinks, so I kind of forgot some of it. Yeah, how did people miss this story? Yeah, exactly. It was wild. And so I guess she was like 3 stools over. So she turns around and sees this all going down. And I think the guy was maybe he was just inebriated or something like that. And the other guy was like not interested. He's like, I've got a husband. And he was like calling him, trying to tell the other guy. So I don't really know all the inner workings. But the weird part was nobody got arrested. And apparently she told me when the cops came, the cops were weirded out because it was like a gay guy and another gay guy for some reason. Like somehow that made a difference. I would have expected the person that whips their dick out should probably go to jail, at least for the night. You know, I mean, that's just, call me old fashioned, you know? But then they didn't arrest anybody. Instead, the cops were weirded out by it. So I think the reason why the cops were talking to the husband and wife is because the husband and wife were probably pissed off that nobody got arrested. No, this is the hotel bar we're at, guys. Hotel bar, you know? And so then Selena, and this is the hotel bar is like the middle of the lobby. Like it's just like you go around the corner and then there's this giant bar there as well. So this was like in the middle of the open area. That's Pride Month for you. Nobody's asked if it was Mike Obama yet, guys. I am disappointed. Nobody said, was it Mike Obama? I'm disappointed, chat. You guys missed a golden opportunity for a great joke. I expected more from you, chat. Next time, please be on the ball with the Mike Obama jokes. The weirdest part was that then Selena was the one that she told the cop. She got herself injected into the situation. And I was making fun of her because I'm like, why would you inject yourself in the situation? Oh, because what happened was that then apparently what happens, the flasher went to the front desk and he told the front desk that the other person was flashing him and basically tried to flip it around. I forgot the best twist, guys. So the flasher went to the front desk and said, no, the other guy was trying to flash me. So when the cops came, it became a big story of he said, she said. And I think this is why the husband and wife were talking about it, because they were trying to clear up the situation about who flashed who. And then Selena felt like she had to do the right thing and try to help get involved and tell the cops who was the person and what was the full story. And then for some reason, the cops just let Selena take both people back up to their rooms. And then apparently that became a big shit show as well because they're probably drunk, inebriated. So she actually escorted them both back to their rooms and they went to sleep, presumably, and nobody got arrested. What a weird story, guys. What a weird story. I was enthralled by it, to be honest with you, at the club. George Howard probably doesn't like that I'm telling that story, but you guys know I'm gonna tell it. So science. Yeah, there was some drama, guys. It was but it was great. So also I want to do a shout out to the water ladies that brought Appalachian water down from the Appalachian Mountains and had it infused with pineapple and let's see, they had cucumber, they had pineapple, and they also had watermelon. That water was, honestly, that water saved my life, probably on multiple occasions. I got at least 10 of those waters, maybe more. I was double fisting them. Apparently they have like some sacred infused stuff going on. I didn't even care. It was delicious. Oh, hold on one sec, guys. I don't have any napkins. Okay, no, we're good. Let's see. Actually, that's probably the most of the stories that went out. Yeah, the event went off without a hitch. There was no issues with it whatsoever. George was great. I thought that he was a great host. I talked to him on several different occasions. I also sat with George at dinner and spoke to him for a few minutes as well as his producer, who for some reason his name is eluding me right now. Probably because I'm sick, but I'll think of it. Okay. So also, I had a lot of people talk to me about Overunity stuff. Like, a lot of people want to get involved with it, which is why I was going to shift to the Overunity discussion after this. Beckett, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, God. Yeah, so yeah, I chatted with Beckett and George for a while at the dinner, but I had people that were interested in selling devices, purchasing devices, connecting me with people, which I thought was amazing because I wasn't even there for that, you know? And that wasn't even like a topic that was going out there. Oh, yeah, and then I'll answer this as well. How were you received by the audience? So you guys can watch it. I was already sick on Monday when I went and did that presentation, but I suffered through it. And on Monday, it probably seemed more organized on the outside, but it wasn't that organized from behind the scenes. I kept asking people the night before, like, what's the deal with the classroom? And eventually we just kind of staggered our positions. And I told them I got to leave at 3:00 to go to the airport. I think the presentation was very well received. I had 3 people after the presentation like come single me out before I could even walk away. And they wanted to know my details, my personal information, my Twitter account, whatever they could do to follow along. I also think that I probably did one of the better presentations because a lot of people just, no offense to them, they just kind of drone on and on and on. And like my stuff is more structured, and I show the videos and I show the flight path video and stuff like that. So I think it was a really good presentation. There was one person that felt like they were straight out of Reddit. Actually, so much so that it makes me wonder if when you're in Navy intelligence, they don't tell you to just lie about our satellite capabilities when people ask. So actually, it makes me wonder that. Because there was a guy that, there's one more story you guys just reminded me of as well. I can't forget this, so I need to write this down. Oh, God. I can't believe I almost forgot. Because he comes up and he says, oh, well, what do you say? The coordinates aren't moving or something like that, and the satellite would be moving too fast to be able to, record this and what have you. And I tell him, like, all the stuff that we normally say, like the clouds are moving, that this is ground-based computer systems that we found, Google Earth, and the quick train modeler. I even told him that it's kind of silly to think that we're looking through telescopes in 2020 and even 2014, because that's definitely not how it works anymore. And I told him as well, I know there's only 5 optical telescopes left. And he also said something about the angle of inclination. And I'm like, well, we have low Earth orbit satellite, NOS, USA 229, which was in that area. So, like, there's not really anything you can say to counter that. And he was an EW operator. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's probably why. Because I've had other naval intelligence people, at least people that claim to be naval intelligence, that have said, like, you're 100% over the target. So a lot of these guys, unfortunately, like, they just, when somebody says stuff like that, that's so out of touch. Like, I even showed the Sibbers video during my presentation. How can you not look at the Sibbers video and then realize at least a baseline of what our satellite functionality is? Of course we have video. Of course we do. If you don't think we have video satellite capability, you are so far behind the times. You're like 30 years behind the times, maybe 40 years behind the times. But anyway, the rest of the questions were really good. Bob Greener's thing was really good. I already mentioned some of that. Now, just because somebody's bringing this up, I wasn't going to talk too much about MH370, but mainstream media is pushing the Cardiff University scientific paper that I already posted over a month ago, guys. So I've got this always happens. I want it for you guys who are watching the stream right now. I want you to realize how disinformation and misinformation works and how the media works. You should not listen to anything you see in mainstream media. Nothing. I already posted the Cardiff University hydroacoustic data paper over a month ago. It's from May 2nd. Okay. It's now June 19th. Mainstream media is just this week, 6 weeks later, they're posting about it with headlines like MH370 found ? Which is just extremely misleading. That paper literally rules out the South Indian Ocean as being the crash site. Okay? So please stop pinging me on those papers, on those news articles, guys. You got like 20 pings about these news articles. Like, you guys just need to learn, when you look at an article like that and says Cardiff University, you're going to see a hyperlink. Click on the hyperlink. The hyperlink will take you to the scientific paper. Then you read the scientific paper. What the news articles do is they just add these editorials. Editorial is making up a story. That's what editorialization means. They add editorial to make things seem incredible so that people will take a look at it. The reason why the scientific paper rules out a crash in the South Indian Ocean, these are facts, straight up facts. Only one detection was found on one acoustic detector, but 2 acoustic detectors were in range, which means the second acoustic detector did not even corroborate the detection from the first acoustic detector. And they've proven it was within range. The paper also proves beyond any doubt that a Boeing 777 crashing into the ocean would leave a sound that would be heard on both detectors, because they looked at other crashes of other planes and other objects like that, and they were able to figure out that, yes, beyond any doubt, they would show it. Now, here's the other big problem. The one acoustic detection they found was, and I have to confirm this, but I've heard between 25 and 55 minutes after the plane already ran out of fuel. Do planes fly without fuel, guys? No, they don't. So they already have the maximum range of the plane based on the fuel load, and this detection was 25 to 55 minutes after that. This is just, you don't have to take, doesn't take any magical understanding to figure out that planes can't fly without fuel. That one acoustic detection literally cannot be from MH370. That's it. So unless the news article says South Indian Ocean ruled out satellite pings in question based on the scientific paper, what you're reading is literally the definition of fake news. So once again, just take a look at the paper yourself, go to the conclusions part and the findings, read the paragraph. They go through all the math. And this is why I posted the other day about Ed Anderson or something. And he's like just in full copium mode, man. Full copium. In fact, I may pull it up, saying how, no, it's not going to cause an earthquake when it hits the water, which is like a totally dishonest way to frame it. It's not a matter of it detecting and creating an earthquake. It's creating an acoustic detection that's equivalent to the size of an earthquake. And this is unfortunately, like, I can't say anything nice about these guys because most of these independent group guys are complete idiots. They're just complete morons. And they claim to be experts when they're anything but. Because you don't need to be an expert in anything to solve the case. And apparently there was a new barnacle analysis that came up that showed that the barnacles only started growing after the flaperon had washed ashore in Reunion Island. That just is the death blow. The flaperon was the only piece that could even theoretically wash from the 7th arc to Africa. The rest of the pieces couldn't even make it. And if that piece didn't even have debris, barnacles growing on it, it couldn't have been submerged in the water for as long as they're predicting. So, honestly, more and more that comes out, as I've said for 9 months, this case is going to be vindicated. The MH370 videos will be proven to be true beyond any shadow of a doubt. It's literally only a matter of time. And that search in November, they're not saying even where they're searching in November, but it's not going to find anything unless the CIA is planting a Boeing 777 at the bottom of the ocean right now. Okay. Now, the last story So election reform, I don't mean to put you down here, man, but you're doing the exact same thing the fake experts are doing, my man. Like, you know what? And just because you said this, I'm going to actually pull it up now for you. So, and this is the problem, is that like people, when they make comments like this, you're not thinking logically. That's the issue. And this is why we never found MH370. Because when you act like this and you say, airplane can't make an earthquake, well, no disrespect, but that's just stupid. That's just a stupid comment to make. The paper in question literally goes through 3 different scenarios on the energy levels. And the energy levels, even on a slow crash into the ocean, 30 meters per second, is, I believe, equivalent to a 2.1 earthquake on the Richter scale. Now, keep in mind, earthquake Richter scales go up 10 by a magnitude of 10 every single digit. So a 2.0, a 3.0 is 10 times more powerful than a 2.0. So you need to realize that, yes, the paper conclusively shows that a Boeing 777, which is the size of a city block that holds almost 300 people, is going to leave an acoustic detection equivalent to a very small earthquake. You're not even going to feel a 2.0. And elections, I've already posted the paper a month ago, but just for you, I'm going to post it right now as well. I'm just going to literally show it to you. And I don't know why you're even fighting me on this. It's absolutely wild. And now when I look this up too, you find that there's like all these articles here about it, and they're all fake news. All of them are just fake news, literally fake news. Like, I don't like embarrassing people on stream, but better thing is, you know, don't come at me. So you see this shows where signal is detected, but when you look at it, it doesn't actually tell you where it is. Could underwater signal sounds solve the mystery? These articles should read crash in the South Indian Ocean ruled out by Cardiff University paper, which is right here, by the way. Here it is. First link. All I searched was Cardiff University MH370, May 20th, 2024. Actually, I believe this was May 2nd. Yeah. Oh, this is not even the right one. Yeah. So this article is from May 20th. This is the article I posted a month ago, by the way. This article right here is the one I posted a month ago. The scientific paper is somewhere else in here from May 2nd. So again, like, you guys see how delayed news is. They're posting a month-old story with a fake news headline. Oh, and we're going to look at this in a minute too, I think. Oh, I'm not going to Facebook, though. Where's the link? Jesus. And what you'll notice when you go through these papers is, like, you literally don't even find the link. They don't even have a link to the paper. Okay, give me a sec. Let me. Oh, I could have just switched it. Okay, here it is. I found it. It's in Nature, by the way, which is kind of a big publication. I'm 6'3" for the people who want to know, like Pizza Party. I like to say I'm 6'2" because 6'3" feels a little too tall. Yeah, I got the Cosmic Sickness chat. I definitely did. Okay, so here's the paper. I'm just going to skip to the bottom. You guys can check out yourself. Okay, here's the discussion. I'm just going to read off the relevant parts from my man who was questioning it. The acoustic signal would have traveled roughly 1,600 kilometers to reach the nearest hydrophone, considerably shorter distance than any other acoustic signal analyzed here. An aircraft with a mass of 200 tons impacting the water surface at a velocity of 200 meters per second is a kinetic energy of 4 gigajoules, equivalent to 956 kilograms of TNT. That seems like a lot. Or an earthquake of magnitude 3.2. So this is just hard math, or whatever Parrish your name was. Please don't second guess me when you could just do your work yourself. It's just embarrassing when people make false claims of out of ignorance and they don't just go look at the paper themselves. Because we wouldn't have had to do this right now if you just found the paper yourself and looked at it and read it. And then you would know that what you were claiming about the earthquake thing is nonsense. Considering half that velocity, so now we're going to reduce it from 200 meters per second to 100 meters per second. The released energy would still be large, 1 gigajoule, equivalent of 239 kilograms of TNT, or equivalent to an earthquake of magnitude 2.8. Also, sound carries in water. I hope I don't have to do a basic experiment proving how that's real as well. Even with a significantly lower impact velocity of 30 meters per second, the resulting energy would be 89 megajoules, equivalent of 21 kilograms of TNT, or an explosion or an earthquake of magnitude 2.1. Oh, turns out I was right. I don't need you to respond, man. I'm educating you. So, if you would want to just admit that you were wrong, that's probably the best thing you could do, because there it is right there. It's right in your face. Have a read. I just think that when people, the snide, dismissive attitudes people have about just basic claims is really what's wrong with everything in the world these days, and certainly why we never solved MH370. Anything that people just don't want to believe can be possible, they absolutely immediately just rule it out, right? Such earthquakes can be detected by distant hydrophones, just as the M2.7 earthquake for the location on here. Therefore, it is highly unlikely for MH370 to have crashed near the 7th arc without having left a discernible acoustic signature. Only one signature within these constraints was even detected, and this was at the Australia acoustic detector. However, this same signal was not observed at Diego Garcia. So, and I have to go dig through the times. I'm not going to waste any more time on this to find the times that are there. But there is there's a timestamp associated to it that is supposedly almost an hour after the plane ran out of fuel. So that also just ruined. I mean, you might as well throw it out, right? And now again, the fake experts like Ed Anderson are out there, and again, he's just a completely fake expert, not an expert at anything relevant. They claim, oh, it's the plane hitting the bottom of the ocean. I'm going to tell you about the thing I almost forgot about in a second. So these people are actually literally with a straight face claiming that you're not going to hear the plane as it crashes into the water at least 30 meters per second and it breaks into 1,000 pieces, but you are going to hear it as it slowly floats to the bottom and hits the bottom of the ocean. This is like science 101. Things slow down when they're going in the ocean, when they're floating to the bottom. Absolutely retarded. I don't have a better word for it. It's just retarded. So I drew hope that some of these like fake experts wake up one day and realize how horribly, horribly wrong they were to assume that 10 rows of an Excel spreadsheet couldn't be fabricated or mislead somebody. Okay, the last story on the Cosmic Summit, and then we're going to move off from that, is Danny Jones was at the Cosmic Summit, everybody. Danny Jones. I saw him on Friday when I was in the private, or I don't know, the bar at the hotel. No, I did not go and talk to him. I had several people that wanted to go bug him. And I said, don't, please do not. I do not want people harassing Danny Jones. I do not want people harassing Danny Jones. Whatever. Well, what I did find interesting was that it felt like I had way more people coming up to me to talk to me than he had going up to talk to him, which was odd because he's probably interviewed like half the people there on his podcast. And he's got like, I don't know, 600, 700,000 YouTube subscribers that were there. So I do know one person did go speak to him about the MH370 videos and apparently talk to him about the orb displacing the smoke in the back of the plane. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I know you guys aren't big fans of him, but I really not trying to make enemies with people for no reason. Just not really worth it. So, okay. I think that's enough, guys. If I forgot anything else, I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm sick, and I got to get to sleep pretty soon because it's rough. Okay. So now we're going to move into some of the Overunity stuff very briefly. And I've got to choose my words wisely here. So there's already been some stuff that's happened that may push back the in-person device review that was expected to happen probably in the next week. This is why I said a pretty long period of 4 to 6 weeks when I was telling you guys earlier. I can't really go into any specifics about it, but what I will say is it's very difficult to get Overunity devices out to the public. And device still 100% works. It produces Overunity. I think that what happened, this is my opinion, is that when this video that I posted, I'm going to show right here. Hold on.
All right, so we're going to do here another demonstration for you.
When this video I posted was actually found by the debunkers who, like, I guess they taught me that maybe you can use a screenshot to find a video. It might have proved that to be true because they were able to find this really quickly. I think some people didn't know this video was out on the internet. And when I started giving it a lot more attention, I think it raised some people's awareness of what was going on with respect to the Overunity device that I've been pushing. Because what we've basically shown here is that, and what I've been claiming, as you can see, is that magnetic motor Overunity device is theoretically possible. But as I've said, it's not going to be as simple as plug and play. You're going to have some inside information about how to produce it correctly and engineer it correctly. Now, on this front, I want to speak a little bit about it while I've got this video playing in the background. And this is probably the last time I'm going to play this video, guys, because the truth is I'm starting to get a little bit sketched out by the situation. And I really don't want to be harming national security or whatever. But I do want people to know what is possible that's out there. So I'm never going to be giving people the secret sauce or whatever that's required to figure it out. But what I will say is I will be happy to give as much contextual information for people to know that it's possible and for people to try to do it themselves or, broaden their horizons. Yeah, it takes a lot of tuning, so it's not very consumer friendly. I also, as I've repeatedly stated, I don't know this for a fact, but I do think there's multiple ways to achieve Overunity. They probably don't all require magnets, but I'm very confident that a magnet-based approach can pull it off. I've also seen that there was another device that somebody shared with me earlier today that we may look at. Not sure. There was like a single motor. There was a magnet-based device. And that might be producing it as well. I truly don't know. But what I was going to say is that I'm more skeptical of devices that have no input than devices that have some input. Now, keep in mind, for Overunity, you don't need to have it have zero input. The only thing you need for Overunity is for it to produce more output than it's taking in. So when he starts the video up here, you're going to see that the output is going to be higher than the input readings. And a lot of people think that free energy must mean there's no input, but a ton of output. Personally, my opinion is the devices that I would trust the most are ones that do have some input, but that input is significantly lower than the output value. And even if you're getting coefficient of performance 2.0, which is the output divided by the input, that's still incredible. That's still a huge amount. So there's more to come in terms of the Overunity situation. What I am going to say is I still have not looked through all the emails because I've been sick as hell for the last 3 days. So I am planning on going through them, picking out select people to call back and talk to. I've got hundreds of emails, guys. This is the other thing too, is that we had more interest than I would have even imagined. We might have had a little bit too much interest because I think we might have attracted some interest from some people that we didn't want to get interested. But we still are planning on going forward with it. My only concern is whether or not we'll be allowed to show our device in a way that is comparable to what we're seeing on this video, which is why I wanted to show this video one more time before we get into it. Because when you watch me in front of the device where it maybe has to be covered up, then I want you guys to know what you're looking at here in terms of it being somewhat similar. Would free energy be a national security threat? Is that what sketches you out? Let's say tangentially, yes. I also don't want it to... I guess there's another article that I was going to post probably tomorrow by Brandon Weichert. And he talks about... or he has a clip of David Grush talking about how there's an arms race between Russia, China, and the United States. And I've been clear to you guys that disclosing a lot of stuff I've been disclosing is not just the United States, but the other countries as well. Like, I'm actually afraid of like all those big countries, probably equally as well. At least I'm an American. And I feel like my country is going to second guess whether or not they should take out another American. But if I pose a threat or have information that China or Russia would want to know about, that scares me as well. And if this device that we're looking at here that's showing coefficient of performance at almost 2.0, actually, it is 2.0 coefficient of performance as you look at those meters down there at the bottom left. If this is legit, then it's going to draw a lot of attention. So that's the skinny on that thing. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but so for the record, guys, and here's the thing. So here's the next thing. People have a lot of criticisms, like you have to open source it. And even when people like the other motor I was talking about a few minutes ago, he literally builds the motor in front of people. And what do the comments say? Now I need a exact parts list and step-by-step instructions to go along with it. The goalposts never stop shifting. They never stop shifting. There is literally no standard of evidence that people will believe something that they have been told not to believe is possible. Overunity is possible. The first and second laws of thermodynamics do need to be reinterpreted, right? Because you're going to open your system up. We absolutely know beyond any doubt that there is energy all around us because of the Casimir effect. When the plates come together, we know there's a force. We know there's energy around. So we know there's energy in the environment that we just have to tap into. These are facts. That tells us that there must be a way to achieve overunity if we can harness that energy in an efficient manner. I truly believe that magnetism is the way. So no matter what we do, literally no matter what we do, even if we showed the full device, people are still going to say they can't be sure. People also say you have to open source it. I don't even know what people mean by open source anymore. People have open sourced these devices. They've produced them on YouTube. This video has been on YouTube for 14 years. And a guy apparently in his YouTube description, he says his other videos got deleted. The ones where he goes through how to build it exactly. So I want you guys to understand one very important point. Open sourcing has already happened. Open sourcing has already happened. You guys just aren't paying attention. If you think you want somebody to open source it, you just don't realize that it's already been done and all you have to go do is look. That's it. Saying that you want a step-by-step instructions on how to build a device like this is fundamentally equivalent to saying, give me a step-by-step instruction on how I can build my own iPhone. I want the step-by-step instructions on how to build my own iPhone. Never going to happen, man. You're never going to build it. Whether or not I give it to the world, 99.9% of people are never going to have any idea how to even begin starting building it. So this is why I want the people who are hammering about you have to open source it. Respectfully, guys, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. No idea at all. That's why these devices have been out there. This is the reason why actually the devices have not gone public is because it's so easy to quiet people. And it's so easy to convince people that what they're looking at with their eyes, what we just looked at in that 8-minute long video, can't be real. It can't be real. So people have to come up with any million of excuses Like there's wires behind behind it. There's a secret battery, blah, blah, blah. You know? And those people are never going to be convinced. It doesn't matter. They're never going to be convinced. The absolute only way to open source a device is to have it working in front of you. That's it. That's the only way. There's no way to do it on the internet. There's people out there that say no matter what, videos can be faked. There's people that say videos don't count as evidence anymore because of AI tools. And this is, so I appreciate Trump 1 here says, I grasp it intellectually. Given the box of parts, I couldn't configure it correctly. And that's going to be the holdup for most people. Even if you got the exact parts, you're probably not going to configure it correctly. That's the area where you need the highly specialized skill set. And you need to be like somewhat in the know about how physics really works. Not the way that we were taught in school, but the way that it really works. With open systems, how magnetism and scalar physics work. Like you have to understand all this. If you don't understand this, you are going to fail 100%. 100%. Even when you patent things, it's still not, still don't give you everything. Salvatore Pais has 3 patents. They don't say exactly how to build everything. So this is the part where I think that a lot of people simply do not understand the field at play. And the truth is, guys, I'm tired of trying to convince people. I don't even want to convince people anymore. Whether or not people believe, don't believe, I just don't even give a shit. I already know so much information that I never thought I would know in the past, that it doesn't matter to me if people want to be sheep for the rest of their lives. As long as I can take advantage of the situation and make my circumstances better. Like, this is the weird part. I'm not somebody that like feels like I won't be satisfied in life unless everybody realizes that free energy is real. I'm not that good of a person, I guess. As long as I know it's real and I can, like, let's take the Bob Lazar quote, guys. When Bob Lazar was asked by Joe Rogan on the podcast if he would do it again, if he would come out and whistle blow, if he knew what would happen, he says no, he would not. He got to work with magical technology. If I get to work with magical technology, screw everything else. I'll delete my Twitter account. I don't even care. Like, that's because I love science and I want to know how the world really works. And whether or not millions of people want to stay asleep in the matrix or act like sheep their whole lives, doesn't matter to me at all. I've already realized a lot of people are never going to wake up, ever. Now, and that's on the flip side of it. I love you guys in my community. I will absolutely do whatever I can to help make your guys' lives better. And I feel like I've already done that a little bit by disclosing some of the science for you guys to be able to take advantage of it for yourselves, whether that's investing in certain industries or just having the knowledge that some of this stuff is real. Just by having the knowledge that some of this is real, you can profit in indirect ways. Because, you know, like, you could look at the geopolitical landscape in a different light. I've got like 5 minutes left, guys. I'm about to lose my voice. But what I wanted to say was that I got a lot of feedback from the people that came and talked to me at the Cosmic Summit, the fans and what have you. And you know what I realized? I realized there's so many smart people following this case and investigation. They don't want to hear about a lot of the drama. They don't even want me to bother with debunkers and other stuff. They know that this stuff's real too. They just want to push it forward, you know? And so I'm probably done having troll hunt streams and streams where we do 5-hour spaces with debunkers. There's no point in doing any of that stuff anymore. What I want to do is I want to improve my content by having things ready to go, more concise, going through the science, and it's probably going to be a lot more science streams from this point going forward. And those science streams will be reviewing probably open sourced research papers, scientific papers, and then giving my my thoughts on what those papers mean and how they can correlate to either Overunity or to the technology we see in the MH370 videos. Magnetic monopoles, gravity waves, space-time manipulation, etc. So it was pretty awesome to see and hear a lot of that feedback. I mean, there was a woman that was a aerospace engineer for Gulfstream. And I remember what she asked me. She went, or what she told me. She went, after I watched your stuff, I began to question whether or not everything I do is obsolete. And I just kind of smiled because I think that several people have stories where in the military, and one of them as well was that people were working on some of these advanced aerospace things, stuff that people think is the cutting edge. And then they were told themselves that, oh, no, this stuff's all obsolete. Like if things go really to shit, we're going to break out the magical floaty orbs, you know, the technology that's beyond the paradigm. But then everything else is just a ruse on the surface. It's all just for money. So that was a fun Cosmic Summit, guys. The Overunity situation, I think, is still going strong. I hope that we can still show as much as I want to show, but I just care more about protecting people. And if this were to mean that we can't sell the Overunity device to people publicly, it was still worth a shot. I hope that we can. And I do hope that we get at least a few people who are open-minded, that we can have come out and see the device for themselves firsthand, and then, you know, purchase the device. Because, you know, the last thing I want to say is a lot of people, I look at some of these Overunity device comments, I see a lot of the same repeat NPC brain comments. And one of them is, if you developed an Overunity device, you'd be a trillionaire overnight. This is about as delusional as the idea that you just open source it and solves all your problems. No. If you reveal it or whatever, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get disappeared. And if that's not a possibility, the second thing that's going to happen is that you're going to have an untimely heart attack or you're going to have an accident. And if that's not the next thing, then the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to have your device debunked by YouTubers on the internet. That's what really happens. So people don't really understand what suppression means. So I'm going to tell you guys what suppression means for the people who have tried to bring this information out. No, they're not going to become trillionaires and famous overnight. Quite the opposite. And we learned that from the MH370 investigation. If the media was not controlled, then every single mainstream media would have been talking to me back in September when I was revealing the biggest conspiracy of all time, really, to MH370. All of the Western media is controlled by the government. If you don't realize that, then all you have to do is realize that no mainstream media has ever reached out to me, and yet I've done over 100 alternative media podcasts. Because people are, of course, interested in the story. So why would the mainstream media not want to talk about an interesting story? They had no problem talking about the kid who saw aliens in his backyard, which is absurd. I mean, maybe he did, but it doesn't have any real evidence. But they won't talk to me about what really happened to MH370. So again, what I want you to realize is the United States government has full control over all the Western media. Full control. We have as much, if not more, propaganda in our media than Russia Times or whatever, Russia Today, whatever it is, the Russian media does, and Chinese media. We think we're so far more advanced than them, but we are not. If anything, we are worse than they are. It's ridiculously easy to hide this stuff. And I've already seen now one way where people can be leveraged to hide it. So, okay, guys, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Any last questions before we log off here? Yeah, like Ryan says, it's not that they won't talk to you about it. It's the fact that they can't talk to you about it. Because they've been told, don't talk to this guy, or he's just some random guy on the internet or whatever. When anybody who watches my stuff, I didn't have this light on. Anybody who watches my stuff knows I'm a normal guy. I've done enough impromptu interviews that, you know, nobody should be afraid to talk to me. The only people who are afraid to talk to me are people who are afraid that I'm going to expose them as a liar and a grifter. And you'll find there's a lot of those people. Any cute girls? Yeah, there's cute girls everywhere. What I will say is I learned the term sapiosexual. I did not know what that term means. Apparently means women who are attracted to intelligence. I got a chance, guys. I got a chance. I also want to shout out real quick the interviews that I had to cancel over the last 2 days because I've just been sick as a dog. So Health Ranger, we had to postpone Health Ranger's interview. And then today, Daryl's interview is going to be postponed until later. There should be a new interview coming out with Audio Crack pretty soon, I believe, but no rush. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a discussion with David Chester, who's a PhD physicist, Jeremy Reese, and Michael Perrone. And that we will potentially talk. Maybe we can do it on stream. I'm not sure. So I had to cancel or move all of those. So those things will be coming up in the future, hopefully, here, guys. Are you going to marry Krishley after you become a trillionaire? I have nothing against Krishley, and I don't even know what she looks like. But I'm going to still say hard no on that. Still say hard no on that. I don't like girls that are too pushy. Just kidding. Okay, I got to go rest, guys. I'm dying here. So you guys have a great night. Peace, everybody. Tomorrow, we'll get back into the science. We are going to probably look at some Gary Stevenson high-frequency gravitational wave papers tomorrow. He co-authored a couple with Bob Baker that I've been wanting to review. And we'll also probably look at page 14 of the Stargate DIA paper. Talks about lasers and negative energy. So, okay, guys, have a good night. Peace, everybody.
Out in the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight, just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow.
Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeezed so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow.
Thin shell formalism plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Unknown forces balancing the plates, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound. A shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread.
negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Exploring the cosmos, our future's here.